This video was originally published on www.horses.land. For more work like this, become a member today for just $5. New merch now available. The boy did not know his mother had a gun. He looked as young as he was. He had silver blonde hair and skin which had been tanned by many long days under the sun of the eastern summer. "I'm going to play baseball," he said. "What?" replied his mother as she blinked away tears. "I can just hit the rocks with the wooden bat. All the pros use wooden bats." "You're going to play baseball," the mother said, and her words ran together, slurred but legible. "Just out back on the road," said the boy. Sometimes the boy's mother forgot things very quickly and repeated things or needed to ask the same question many times. Sometimes she slept very long into the late afternoon. The boy did not know why. "I can come with you to play baseball." The mother grabbed a small brown fabric bag. She put into it the silver metal object which the boy did not know she owned. "Can you pitch the ball?" "The ball?" "The baseball. Mom, I need to practice." "Baseball?" "I need to practice my baseball so I can hit good this season. The season's gonna start soon." "Hit the rocks. I'll come with you. Don't hit any cars. I'll come with you so you don't hit any houses." So the boy went to the small outdoor patio behind the apartment where he lived alone with his mother. He found his wooden bat, which was a Louisville Slugger. It was much too heavy for the boy to swing, and his coaches would not let him use it when the Dixie League season began. But he watched many baseball games of the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers, and sometimes the New York Yankees, even though they were in the American League, and he did not usually watch that league. The boy didn't like the Yankees. He heard they had too much money, unlike the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The players on these teams were all men, and they used wooden bats. They were strong, grown men who could swing heavy wooden bats, and with the right wind, they could hit a home run 500 feet. From a yard sale, the boy had purchased an old wooden Louisville Slugger for $1. When the boy hit a real baseball with the wooden bat, he could not hit far, but it felt very special to use the Louisville Slugger. Behind the apartment there was a long gravel road which had been poorly paved with large white rocks. The largest rocks were the size of a golf ball, and they were much lighter than a real baseball. If the boy was quick, he could toss a rock into the air, pull the wooden bat up, and strike the rock to hit it very far. But each rock with its sharp and ragged edges dented or took a chunk out of the wooden bat. So now the Louisville Slugger was pot-marked, with dozens of pieces missing and dents from the small rocks. It was still a wooden bat, just like the Cubs, the Dodgers, or even the Yankees used. The boy ran out to the gravel road. His mother walked very slowly behind him. She was unsteady and tripped, and she fell onto the ground. "Fuck," she said, before getting back onto her feet. "Are you okay, Mom?" asked the boy, stopping his sprint. "What are you doing?" yelled the mother. "We're playing baseball. I already told you that." "I love you. You know that I love you. You have to know that I love you," said the mother, and she smiled. But her smile was full of shiny, wet eyes and desperation. The boy was as young as he looked, and he did not know that a smile could mean anything more than a smile. "I love you too," said the son. On either side of the road there was a bed of sand and coastal grass which could grow in such humid and beached environments. The mother sat down in the grass and leaned back on her hands. The boy began to toss his rocks into the air, and he swung wildly at each one. Some went straight forward for a line drive. Others arched into the air for a home run. Still a few darted off the bat towards the ground. On a real field, those could be ground ball hits. "What are you doing?" asked the mother, and her words again ran into one another as she spoke. The boy looked at her, but then started to throw more rocks into the air. The mother leaned back onto the sand and grass, and she lied down on the ground. Another boy was walking down the street. He was the same age as the son, but he had shorter, dark hair. "Robert," said the son. Robert was very good at soccer, but he also played baseball. The son had always wanted to be friends with Robert. "Do you want to play baseball?" Robert shrugged indifferently. "Sure," he concluded. "Okay, you be the pitcher. It's my bat, so I hit first," said the son, with the sort of innocent selfishness which most children possess. "Do you have a ball?" asked Robert. "We'll just use the rocks. I just use the rocks." "Okay, I'll be Greg Maddux," said Robert, as he stood in the road and picked up a larger stone. "Who are you?" "I'm Mark Grace," said the son, as he heaved the bat over his shoulder. "No, wait," he insisted. Mark Grace was a very good baseball player, but he did not hit many home runs. "I'm Luis Gonzalez." "Who even is that?" "He's on the Diamondbacks. He stands like this," said the son, and he widened his batting stance to imitate Luis Gonzalez. The famous hitter spread his legs far apart because with his swing, he naturally took a broad step inward with his right foot. By standing so wide, Luis Gonzalez could finish his motion with his feet on a line, which was considered good form for a hitter. The boy's swing did not include such a broad step inward, but Luis Gonzalez hit many home runs, and the boy had never hit one. "I'm Greg Maddux," said Robert. "Okay," said the son, and he smiled broadly. "Mom, I'm Luis Gonzalez. Look how I'm standing, just like him, just like he does." The dirt road became a real baseball field, with green grass and white bases around its four corners. The houses on the road turned into a stadium, and many millions of people cheered for Luis Gonzalez to defeat Greg Maddux. The hot summer air and the scent of the sea morphed into a perfect spring day, and ever-fresh notes of combed grass filled the air. The wooden baseball bat was intact now and had no chips or chunks missing, and it was much lighter like a feather. The son could swing it like a strong man and heave a home run 500 feet if he got a good pitch and pleasant wind. The boy did not need to wait and grow and practice to play in Major League Baseball. He did not wonder why his mother sometimes cried or forgot things or slept too long. Greg Maddux threw his pitch towards Luis Gonzalez. It was not a good pitch, and it was not a strike. "0-1, said the umpire, who was a broad-chested man that looked even larger in his protective equipment. Greg Maddux got his ball from the catcher. He hurled it at Luis Gonzalez, who was standing the tremendous distance from the pitcher's mound, not only in the grass 20 feet from the road. This pitch was a fastball. It almost hit the batter, and Luis Gonzalez had to slide away from the gleaming white plate on the ground. Greg Maddux pitched again. Luis Gonzalez swung the bat, and there was a loud crack, not the splinter of a wooden chunk from the bat, but of a towering home run. "Homer," said Luis Gonzalez, throwing the bat down as the ball hurled through the air. The crowd erupted in joy. Greg Maddux threw another pitch. This one was wild and outside of the strike zone. He threw again. Luis Gonzalez hit a ground ball for the first out. He hit 2 more grounders, and there were 3 outs. Any good baseball game had the tendency to blur into a continuous motion of time. This one was no exception, and Greg Maddux threw one of his final pitches, and Luis Gonzalez struck it with a ninth-inning fury. There was another crack, and then a cry from Robert. The baseball was a rock again, and the bat felt very heavy as Robert clutched at his shin. A trickle of blood fell from Robert's leg. The son dropped the Louisville Slugger and rushed to his friend. "I'm sorry," said the son. "It's my turn to bat," said Robert. The boy smiled, and he nodded. Okay. Who are you going to be?" "I'm Mark McGwire." "Who are you going to be?" The boy thought about the question. Perhaps he could be Randy Johnson, who threw fastballs at over 100 miles per hour. Or he could be Kerry Wood, who had once struck out 20 batters in a single game. Still, there was also Pedro Martinez, but he pitched in the American League, so the boy had only read about Pedro Martinez's skill in the newspapers. Maybe he could be someone else. There was silence, and then there was a sudden loud bang, and the mother fell backwards onto the sandy ground. There was very much blood, and the soft sound of liquid gurgling in the throat, and then silence. The dirt road could never again be a baseball field.